I mean, that's the goal every game. You're striving for perfection. That's the goal every game.
It's just based off of kind of like the last couple of games. It seems like you guys haven't had a whole game where you guys have been clicking on all cylinders like you want to be.
Um, I wouldn't say that. We've found ways to win. That's what you got to do in this league. Not every game is going to be perfect. You got to fight through adversity. That's what NFL is all about.
Is there anything about this week that feels maybe different than other weeks during the regular season? I know it seems like a dumb question, but is there anything that feels
No,
really different?
no. I mean, it's the playoffs. Team we've played a lot. Third time this year, so they know us, we know them. May the best team win.
Is it good that it doesn't feel like a different week? Is that something that y'all wanted to kind of emphasize as you guys started the postseason?
I just think that's those are the kind of guys we have in the locker room. Those are the kind of coaches we have. We treat every week the same. I think that's why we've won a lot of games, the last couple of years.
You said you missed some throws, on Sunday when you went back and watched the film. Was there any particular play that bothered you the most out of when you kind of reviewed it?
There were just some routine throws I didn't hit. I would say, 3 or 4 I'd like to have back.
When an offense can be as explosive like as yours can be, but then when needed, you can be efficient, and go length of the field, multiple plays. You feel unbeatable at that point?
Well, it's you feel unbeatable all the time, and then sometimes you get humbled a little bit. That's life in the NFL. You have ups and downs, and it's about how steady you stay through that. And we have guys that really maintain level heads throughout the entire year, no matter what's going on.
Joe, is there something you learned during last year's playoff run that maybe you didn't quite realize about winning in the playoffs in the NFL?
Not so much the game, but just maintaining your body through this. We're counting preseason, we're getting into game 20, 21, 22, 23. And so, you count those and you just figure out what it takes, maintain your body through those times late in the year and feeling as good as you can out there on Sundays.
Do you find yourself, now as you're back into the playoffs, you guys have done a good job, I think, of trying to put last year behind and beat the 22-23 Bengals, but as you're in the playoffs, do you find yourself at times flashing back to last year's playoffs and the Super Bowl and the unfinished business nature of all that now?
I think it's natural to call back on experiences that you've had in similar situations. And so I think, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't. But, like I said, it's a new year, new team, new opponents. And so, we know what it takes. That's all last year did for us.
What is the biggest challenge facing the Ravens again in back-to-back weeks, or any team in back-to-back weeks in preparation?
Well, they're a really good defense, and they know what we try to do on offense. We know what they try to do on defense, and so they try to take away our bread and butter stuff, and they're pretty good at it. We play them a lot, and they have a really good defensive coordinator that makes it tough on you out there. And so we've got to find some ways to find some explosive plays and stay efficient and keep moving the ball down the field. And I think we have a good game plan to do that.
No quarterback going to the same team back-to-back weeks.
It's really not. You try to make it like a new week. You treat every week like its own. Try to go 1-0 that week, and you watch film and come up with some plays that you think will work in that structure of defense, and put them in, and then you go through the week of practice and take some out you don't like, leave some in, and so it's really the same. It's just a team we've played a lot.
What have you figured out over the last year about avoiding sacks?
And there's a time and place to extend plays and try to get out of some when others, you throw the ball away, and then there's others that you just eat it and take the sack, and so every situation calls for something different.
No quarterback wants to be known as a game manager, I guess, but it's such a big part of it. Do you think, given the fewer sacks you've taken, all the checks down you've taken, do you think that's been your biggest jump from year one, from last year to this year? It's just knowing situations and managing games?
Yeah, I would say that's fair. You know, understanding the situation in the game and when you can and can't take certain chances, depending on the score, the defense, how you're moving the ball, how you're running the ball. You know, it all plays into it, and you know, we pride ourselves on being a very good situational football team, and I think that's why we've won a lot of games. We talk about it a lot, and so I would say, you know, as a overall unit and team, we've taken strides this year in that way.
Get an example from maybe, you get an example from maybe something from last year and then what's different this year?
That's tough to recall right off the top of my head.
What are the biggest differences, Joe, between making adjustments week to week and in-game on the sideline when you're talking with pitch or you're talking to?
Yeah, well, you know, we've got to the point that we kind of talk throughout the week what a team could do to us that we might not expect, and whether, you know, we don't always, you know, put in the plays that could beat that throughout the week, but we kind of always have that in the back of our mind that we're going to have to make those adjustments in game because teams play us so differently than we see on tape. And so we have a great coaching staff that knows what they're looking at out there on Sundays and can get us to the right calls and plays very quickly, and that's credit to them.
Have you seen any or experienced any situations this year where not only you, but the coaching staff was like, we haven't seen that at all before on film and had to kind of scramble on the run? Can you recall anything like that this year?
Tough to recall this year. The one that, you know, the one that sticks out in my mind from last year would be the 49ers game. You know, we got a lot of different third down defenses, and you know, our guys did a great job of adjusting on the fly and getting to an entirely new third down package in game that ended up, you know, getting us a lot of first downs at the end.
Y'all have had a lot of runs in the last 3 regular season games, a lot of like scoring runs, essentially like in basketball, for and against. Is that a concern at all going in, that kind of the way the points have been scored in those last 3 games for y'all going into the postseason?
You know, it's not a concern. You know, every game works out differently, and that's just how the last couple have worked out. We haven't executed through, we haven't put teams away the last couple weeks, but that's something we've been really good at all year, so it's not a concern for us.
Joe, you said on Sunday, one was a great line, the championship window is my whole career. How much of that is just you having confidence in you being able to put teams away if it comes to it when the game's on the line?
Well, that's why you prepare, and that's why you practice all week, and I think you have to have that mindset as a quarterback in this league if you want to be really successful. You know, you can't go out there scared in the moment. You have to be a little arrogant to go out there in that moment and, you know, make the plays that you need to make. And so that's really something I've thought a lot about, and something that I try to do.
Some people might take that as arrogant or overconfident. That's just you. Is that just kind of, you probably don't measure it that way, Joe. That's just, you deliver the line kind of stone-faced, and it's just who you are?
Well, I'm really confident in my work and my preparation, and I'm confident in the guys around me too, and my coaches as well. And so when you have confidence in just about everything that you do, it makes life a lot easier on Sundays.
After having that stability and chemistry with the same guys on the offensive line all season, what are the specific challenges of, you know, playing with new guys this late in the season?
Yeah, you gotta get walkthrough reps. You gotta get mental reps through communication, seeing different blitzes, you know, certain looks that the guys that were out there had seen. You know, these guys might not have seen. So we have to be really good of communicating on the fly, understanding how they communicate. Ted does a great job of getting everybody on the same page up front, which is, you know, kind of how valuable he is to us. And, you know, as far as me, just making sure I'm very clear with my communication in the huddle and at the line of scrimmage.
You've played in a lot of playoff games at the high school level, college level, and at the pro level now. What's your favorite part of what do you enjoy the most about playoff games?
You know, it's do or die. That's where you like to be. You know, in those moments, I feel like, you know, is where I kind of make my best plays. It's just where I'm comfortable, and you know, these moments are moments that you remember. You don't always remember week 6 games on the road. You remember these playoff games, these home night playoff games, and so we're excited. I know the fans will come out ready to go. That atmosphere on that Monday night game that we didn't unfortunately end up playing, that was the best atmosphere pregame I had ever been a part of. So we're going to need that again on Sunday.
Like ever in the NFL or just
Ever.
like SEC-wise ever?
Ever.
You're now officially the most accurate passer of all time. You go into the off-season as the most accurate passer of all time. First of all, how does that sound? And what does that make you want? Does that inspire you anymore? Or?
Well, it sounds pretty good right now, but hopefully I got 10 more years to, solidify that. So a lot of throws to be had. That's something I always pride myself in is my accuracy, and so we're on the right page.
Last year, Zach, go ahead.
Did Baltimore leave a bunch of defensive inventory on the shelf? Did they play it pretty vanilla as such, and do you expect, if they did, do you expect the full?
Well, they initially they were blitzing a little more than expected in those first 2 quarters, and we had some success against it, and then they kind of started doing what they did in the first game, and so they have a good plan. They always do. I have a lot of respect for the guys on the other side. They always make it really hard on us, so it'll be a challenge.
One of those guys is Patrick Queen, who you played with him and you've been against him every year you've been in the league. How much tougher is it now that he has Roquan Smith with him on his side? Yeah,
Roquan is a really good player, brings intensity, flies around, makes plays. I got a lot of respect for him as a player.
You still don't really remember week 6 road games, but when you guys beat the Saints, you said we know who we are now. Was that Ravens loss the week before that kind of a turning point for you? Did anything kind of change from there entering this week?
The second half against the Ravens in that first game, we really had a lot of success, and I think that was probably, you can point to a lot of moments throughout the year that kind of turned the tides. That was one of them. We found a lot of success in that second half, and it's carried us on since then.
You've spoken a lot this season about the depth and the way the roster's been built. What stands out to you about Duke in the front office and what they've done to build a good team?
They've really done an unbelievable job through the draft, free agency, claiming guys, bringing the right kind of guys in. That's really what, every team has really good players, but when you bring in the right guys to add to the culture of what Zach is trying to build and what we're trying to build in the locker room, it just compounds on top of each other, and you really have to give them a lot of credit for finding some guys that might be diamonds in the rough that you can bring in on special teams and have little packages for on defense, offense, and special teams. They've done a great job.
You mentioned playoffs are where memories are made. Do you have before you got to the league, a vivid playoff memory or Super Bowl memory that stands out, like a play or a moment that kind of?
Well, you always remember the Tebow mania that one year when he went into, was that a home game that they ended up?
They beat the Steelers.
Yeah, they beat the Steelers at home. Yeah, that was fun to watch.
You said that the playoffs bring out the best, right? These kind of situations. Why is that the case? Have you ever kind of figured out why you seem to thrive in these moments?
I don't know. I prepare really hard. I work really hard. I just at the end of those games, you accumulate reps throughout the game against the defense, and at that point you kind of know what you're going to get. Late in the game, you're not going to get a ton of surprises except maybe a blitz here or there, and so you should be playing your best at the end of the games.
Last year, Zach said the goal for the offense was to be more explosive. You guys were obviously able to do that last year, and then this year he said to be even more explosive. What do you feel like now that you're through the regular season, you guys did particularly well on offense that you're proud of?
Well, I think we've adjusted to what teams are doing to us throughout the year. The beginning of the year was a lot of ups and downs. And then, as the season went on, we made some tweaks, some adjustments that have really been good for us, both in the run game and pass game, understanding how to win games. Really since the bye, we've really happy with everything that we've done.
Joe, what can you tell us about the farming initiative that you and Sam and other pro athletes got involved in, and what you hope to accomplish through that?
Maybe that's an off-season discussion. We'll keep it to football right here.
Okay. Joe, you mentioned that you work hard, you prepare. If if you know everything, you have an encyclopedia of knowledge of the game plan and adjustments and everything, but if your teammates don't, what good does it do you? Do you incentivize your teammates to get their nose in the playbook and kind of prepare like you do, or do they follow your lead, do you think, in terms of getting ready to be able to take on a whole bunch of things?
I haven't really had to. We don't really have those discussions. I trust those guys to do the work that they need to do to go out there and perform on Sundays. We've never had any issues at that. Guys take care of their business, their bodies, their minds, studying the playbook. We get our reps through practice. We talk them through. They're on the field, and then sometimes in the locker room, if you're thinking about something, just mention it here or there. And everyone has trust in each other in that way in there to say what needs to be said, but also everyone knows they're going about their business.
Have you guys ever gotten together, even out in practice and almost make an adjustment as players, like, boy, this would be another great thing to do off of this, and coaches listen to what you guys have to say?
Yeah, that's always fun when one guy has an idea to have a play off of another play you ran a couple weeks ago, and then you go out there and execute it and it works. That's what's fun about playing these games and playing these division teams that you play a lot. You can really have compliments off of things you did early in the year.
Do you have a playoff memory from last year? Is there anything that stands out?
A lot of them. Really, what stands out most about big wins is the locker room atmosphere afterwards, the camaraderie, the love that everybody shows each other. That's why you play the game. That's what's best about winning.